Good day everyone, Brayden here coming to you from Disney's Hollywood Studios. Today we're going to be doing a plain old what's going on in Walt Disney World vlog, taking a look at all the latest here at Disney's Hollywood Studios. We're going to take a look at the crowds, see what's going on with Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, Disney's latest and greatest attraction. It's been having some issues lately. Well, really since it opened it's been having issues, but especially recently, so we'll take a look at that. I have to say, it really feels like crowds are returning here at Walt Disney World. I was in Epcot on Saturday, and this Saturday the crowds in Epcot, they felt bigger than the crowds Labor Day weekend, the previous weekend. So they're either increasing how many guests total are being allowed into the parks, or the other thing they could be doing, perhaps there are a bunch of unused park passes that are now being allocated to annual pass holders, and that could explain the increase in crowds. Either way, remember, if you want to ride Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, you have to get a boarding pass for the attraction. Right now they are being distributed at 10 a.m. at park opening and also at 2 p.m. although it's kind of a myth if they are being distributed every single day at 2 p.m. If you really want one, you have to be here by 10 a.m. and you need to be in the park to get a boarding pass. I got to the Hollywood Studios parking toll at 9:35 and it took 20 minutes at the Hollywood Studios parking toll, so by the time I got parked it was too late to actually be able to get through the temperature check, security, tap my magic band, get into the park to get a park pass reservation. So I was trying to do it here in the parking lot, and of course it said, hey, you have to be in the park to be able to do that. Hey.
Good morning.
All right everyone, we have entered the park. Yesterday, Blog Mickey captured some incredible photos of an enormous line for guest relations after a lot of people were unable to secure a boarding pass by the looks of it. I'm not sure what exactly was going on there, but I think it's safe to say there are definitely some larger crowds here in Hollywood Studios than I think we've seen since the parks reopened. Over here you have people lined up to get their morning coffee at the Trolley Car Cafe. Really seems like Walt Disney World's coming back to life here. It's kind of nice. Here you can see a sign directing you over to the start of the line for the Runaway Railway. Right now we have a 90-minute standby. I have to say, not too bad. Do you remember when the parks first reopened, what the Hollywood Studios Runaway Railway line looked like? It was crazy. Since Hollywood Studios reopened, they moved many of the switchbacks that used to be in front of the Chinese Theater off to the side over here by the Hollywood Studios archway. And you might notice next to the Hollywood Studios archway, the Voyage of the Little Mermaid poster, which was removed last week, has returned. Ever since the parks closed, there's been a lot of rumors that Voyage of the Little Mermaid might be permanently closed, that it might not come back. And Disney getting rid of the poster was evidence towards that. But now that Disney has put the poster back or added another one, perhaps the Voyage of the Little Mermaid isn't gone for good. And if you are someone who wants to see something new come to this space, not all hope is lost, because it could be that that's the original poster and Disney just realized that not having a poster there at all looked worse than just keeping a poster up for something that isn't open. We'll keep tracking that. Right now in Walt Disney Presents, there is a sneak peek of Mulan playing, which is now streaming on Disney Plus for an additional fee. Rounding the bend towards Toy Story Land, you can see where the Slinky Dog Dash queue ends. This is where the line begins. And on the left side, you can see the end of the line for Toy Story Midway Mania. Lately, there hasn't been any visible progress on the Toy Story Land restaurant, the Roundup Rodeo barbecue restaurant, and that's likely because it isn't a high construction priority for Disney right now, with things like the Star Wars Hotel, the Tron Coaster, Guardians of the Galaxy. Here's Slinky Dog going by. I love the Slinky Dog Dash. It is such a solid attraction. Toy Story Land has such an atmosphere to it. You know, a lot of people are big Galaxy's Edge fans. I have to say, I'm kind of a Toy Story Land fan. You know, it's definitely not nearly the same budget, not nearly the same size or anything like that, but it really is an awesome land. I enjoy it a lot. As you know, when Walt Disney World reopened, not everything reopened in every park. There are a ton of restaurants in Walt Disney World that are still closed, and one notable counter service restaurant that is still closed is Woody's Lunchbox here in Toy Story Land. I'm kind of sad about that because the box tarts here are really good. They're like Pop-Tarts, but even better, they have some pretty good flavors. So hopefully we get Woody's Lunchbox back soon. And looking at these crowds in Toy Story Land right now, it's pretty incredible. Disney is passing up on the sales here with Woody's Lunchbox still closed. They do have a food stand in the land that looks pretty popular. They have things like popcorn, cotton candy, some beverages. But Woody's Lunchbox is where it's at. The seating around here, the seating area, it's probably one of the most elaborately themed food seating areas on Walt Disney World property. The Imagineers did an amazing job here. I notice something new every time I go in this little area. So we'll see what happens with Woody's Lunchbox. Now, let's head into Galaxy's Edge. This is the busiest I've seen Galaxy's Edge since reopening. We've got some characters out. Holy. For those of you who are worried about crowds and were hoping to be in the parks with very few people, that is not going to be the case moving forward. It is very clear that there are a lot more people in these parks than there were before. It's a Tuesday, so whatever's going on with the reservation system, it is clear that there are more guests being allowed into the park. So if that is a make or break to you, that is something you need to know. I have to say, on the bright side, some advantages of Disney allowing more guests into the park is, number one, it's easier to get a reservation, but also it's really starting to feel like the park's atmosphere is coming back. When there were so few people in the parks, it sort of made it clear to me that a big part of what makes the parks feel alive are the guests themselves. The kineticism that comes with all the guests moving through the lands. It almost makes the parks feel bigger when there's more crowds in the parks, which is very odd. And also, since Disney has this park pass reservation system, even if they start letting more people in, when it comes to really high crowd times, usually like Christmas or New Year's or Thanksgiving, even with Disney giving out more park passes, you're gonna have some of the lowest crowds you've ever had on those very, very busy days of the year. So if you're planning on going to Walt Disney World during the holiday season, I still think it's a great deal, even with the shortened hours, because you're gonna have lower waits at all the attractions, and you're probably gonna have one of the least crowded Christmases, Thanksgivings, or New Year's of all time. It's gonna be pretty awesome. Over here at Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, ever since the attraction opened, it's been amazing, but it has been plagued with a lot of issues. And the chief among them, a lot of people say the main problem is that the ride computers sometimes don't know where the trackless ride vehicles actually are. The positioning system is the issue. Whatever the case may be there, recently lightning struck the ride building and they closed the attraction for a bit, and ever since it sort of feels like we've been having a Tower of Terror-esque plot playing out here at Rise of the Resistance, where it seems like it's had more downtime. There's also been issues with the elevators on the attraction, just all sorts of things going on with this attraction. As I said previously in the video, if you want to ride Rise of the Resistance, make sure you get to Hollywood Studios. If Disney's distributing the boarding passes at 10 a.m., get here at like 9:15 or around then. That should give you just perfectly enough time to get into the park, scan in your ticket, open the My Disney Experience app. What you do is hit the join button on the home page, and then you just keep swiping up to refresh the page. So as soon as it hits 10 a.m., you hit the join button, you make your party, and then you should get your boarding pass. And if you follow those directions exactly, you should be able to get a good boarding pass time, and you can head over and check out the attraction. And the earlier of a boarding pass you get, the more likely you'll be able to ride the attraction if it's experiencing some sort of issue. We're leaving Batuu and heading back to Civilization. So everyone, that's gonna do it for our look around Hollywood Studios for the month of September here. It really does seem like those crowds are returning. It just seems like much more people out and about in, you know, normal low crowd areas than in previous weeks. I'm sure some of you will see that as good news, some will see it as bad news. Either way, I really do think this is gonna be a pretty low crowd holiday season as compared to a normal year, considering Disney has that park pass reservation system. If you'd like to stay up to date on all the latest happening here in the parks, be sure to subscribe to those notifications on, and I'll keep the videos coming. Also, be sure to check out our Teespring store, link in the description below. We have some masks, we have some shirts, our 100,000 subscriber shirt, Mickey Views Population 100,000 shirt. That one is going to be disappearing very soon, so last call on that one. Thank you guys so much for watching from the Grand Park, which is still the Muppet Courtyard in my heart. I'll talk to you soon. This is Brayden. Have a magical day.